Hi, I'm Annabelle.
I'm Sophia.
And this is our week 3 video. And we are doing date rape on colleges' campuses and what you need to know and just
tips and so forth. So the definition of date rape is any form of rape that's on usually it's when you're on a date, and with date rape, the difference between date rape and rape is that you usually are acquainted with the person, so you're usually on a date with them, and rape can be any form of penetration without consent. The difference between rape and sexual assault is sexual assault can include any type of unwanted behavior, such as touching or kissing or anything, as in rape is just penetration without consent. Little statistics for you. 1 in 4 women will be either sexually assaulted or raped by the time they're finished with their 4-year at a college university, and 1 in 10 men will be sexually assaulted, and less than 5% is reported to authorities. It's mostly common on college campuses, and the most common causes are the factors
Okay, so the most common things, so there's alcohol involved. When you are under the influence, you are unable to make judgments. So this is when you're at a party, fraternities and sororities, there's always parties at those, if you're in college. And then they use drugs so you're out of it and you don't know what's happening, you have no control. Such as, there's date rape drugs and there's roofies. There's liquid ecstasy, ketamine, and which is also called Special K. And a lot of these are just mixed into your drink, and you don't taste them, so you wouldn't know.
Yeah, there's no color, no taste.
So there's a powder pill and a liquid form, and it just, you can't tell. Well, actually, now though, roofies, they've redesigned them where they turn your drink blue. So a lot of people aren't using those anymore because then it gives it away. So those are usually where it happens, and there's ways that you can prevent them.
Wait, before you go into that, I just wanted to say that with alcohol, usually in a rape case, either if the perpetrator is under the influence, then the victim is also under the influence. More than 50% of the time, both are under the influence of alcohol. It's not just one or the other; it's both of them. So then it
becomes a he said, she said event, and so it's hard to prove. Okay, so ways that you can prevent this is when you go out, make sure you stay in a group of people. Don't go by yourself. Don't go off by yourself. If you stay in a group, then your friends will always know where you are, and you can keep tabs on each other. Also, don't set your drink down. Always keep your drink in your hands where you can see it with you. So, because if you even set it down for the slightest second, anybody can walk by and just slip something in your drink, and then that's it. So, if you do set your drink down, get a new drink. Okay, also, if you keep your phone on you, keep it charged, and if you do happen to walk alone, or even if you're with your friends, stay in a well-lit area. Don't go in a dark area because somebody can easily grab you and it's dark and there's not much you can do. Yes, so.
And also they said that a lot of times with, there was a study done where it wasn't even in college. It was just a man. He wanted to see how easy it was to slip drugs into people's drinks. So we went to 2 different restaurants and 2 different bars, and he was just talking to a table, and they weren't paying attention, and she looked off, and he put a drug in her drink, and she had no idea, and they did not know this man. He just came up and was talking to them, so they would have no reason to think anything of it, and they both didn't see, and so when she was about to take a sip of her drink, he said, "Stop, I put a drug in it, and you didn't even know. So it can happen in regular life also. So this shows how easily it can even be slipped in when you are under the influence or you are drinking. So you really need to be careful.
Though,
even if you are,
you don't even notice.
Because these people were just at a restaurant. They didn't even have any alcohol in them. So it's really, really important to protect yourself. And right now, the current prevention in colleges, they do have PACT 5 and SAFER. PACT 5 so far is only in 5 colleges. It's made up of 5 universities: California Northridge State University, Framingham University, Northern Illinois University, Rowan University, and Western State Colorado University. So right now, those are the 5 that have made a collaboration of videos of victims and That's how they think the best way to get date rape and sexual assault out is to make actual videos from the victims to show how it actually happens. And it's just a ton of stuff. And if you go to their website, they have places, they have sources that will help you, that will give you more information if you want to research it more. And they have personal stories and experiences. And they also have resources so that if you have been sexually assaulted or victimized, that you can go to and you can help. You can get help. And then SAFER is very similar to that. It's just a branch off of Pact 5, but it focuses more on helping the victims than to like explaining what rape is. And right now, they did do a clinical trial to show that they took half of a freshman class and they gave them brochures and did the normal thing that colleges, universities do for date rape, and then they took the other half and they put them through a course in a trial basically where they gave them self-defense training, and they gave them information about who their assailant might be or their attacker, how to see who their attacker might be, and tips and ways to protect themselves. And senior year, they took a survey at the end, and 50% of the people that that took the trial are 50% more likely to not be raped or sexually assaulted. I think the rate was like 8.2% of the girls that didn't take the trial were raped and sexually assaulted, and those are only the people that said it happened, because a lot of times it's not reported because people don't report it. And so another thing that colleges are trying to do is you always hear, don't put your drink down, don't wear this, don't do this, like stuff for women to do. And so right now they're doing the 5 prevention tips, and they're spreading them around college's campus. So number 1 would be, if someone is drunk, don't rape them. Number 2, when you see someone walking by themselves, leave them alone. Number 3, use the buddy system. If it's difficult for you to stop yourself from raping someone, ask a trusted friend to accompany you at all times. Number 4, carry a rape whistle. If you find that you're about to rape someone, blow the whistle until someone comes to stop you. Number 5, don't forget, honesty is the best policy. When asking someone out, don't pretend that you're interested in them as a person. Tell them straight up that you expect to be raping them later. If you don't communicate your intentions, they might take it as a sign that you do not plan to rape them. And these are mostly said because a lot, like you hear, that how the victims are being blamed for being raped, and we need to make sure that we're not blaming the victims and we're focusing more on helping them become okay again, because after you are raped or sexually assaulted, you are scarred and traumatized, and you do need help. And the better ways to prove it are...
Okay, so you have to be able to educate all students. So one of the main things that people have been trying to do a lot lately is there's been advocates who have been advocating for rape prevention and safety, and they're trying to get people educated on how to protect yourself, what you can do. So there's an intensive program to show, so you can show not only self-defense, but you will also just educate them on how to protect themselves, and like a good way to do that is just like, even if you are not the one being attacked, you will also learn how, like, you need to know that you need to intervene, with somebody. Yeah. If you see somebody else who you think is getting sexually assaulted, raped, you need to intervene with them.
There was one media story where there was a fraternity party, and there was a man taking a girl that was obviously very, very drunk up the stairs to the rooms, and another fraternity brother saw this happening, and he had just had training in sexual assault and rape done by the college. It didn't say what college he was at, but he did yell up and say, "Hey dude, your car's getting towed." Obviously that wasn't happening, but the guy dropped the girl, not literally, but just like left her and went to check and see if his car was getting towed. And this gave time for all of that girl's friends to go and get her and take her home safely. So even if you don't intervene by attacking the person, or because maybe she did want to, but this was a way that he was able to intervene and stop it from happening, even if it was not supposed to be happening. So
and also, it's very important to know that women and men, it's not just women, men too do get raped and sexually assaulted. It is possible. You don't hear about it as much, but it is there. So rape is such a touchy subject that it's not talked about enough, and they don't teach it like what it is, and people just aren't aware of like really what it is, and like I mean they know what, but you know like all the
there are specifics.
There's specifics, and you just have to like be aware of how to protect yourself and how to help others, and if you do see it happening, it's always going to be a he said she said case, because a lot of time with date rape there's alcohol involved and the drugs, and a lot of time when somebody gets tested for a drug, they improperly test them, and they may not, and if they don't test them correctly, they're not going to find the drug in the system. Like you have to test the urine, the hair,
and a lot of times, like especially the ones that are commonly used, like Rohypnol and ketamine or Special K, or GHB, they're out of your system within 24 hours. So if it has been in your system and then, go to the bathroom or something and you don't go directly to a hospital, they cannot take it and they cannot prove that is actually happening. And also a lot of times, you can say a lot of problems that they have with trials in sexual assault and date rape is that when you go to court, they're going to say, she said yes, she gave me consent. And a lot of times that's not real consent. So there's a lot of controversy on what consent really is. So if you are not 100% sure that this person is willing to go into sexual, things with you, like, just don't do it. I mean, it's very simple, but a lot of times, like Annabelle said, under the influence of alcohol, you don't really know, and you're not thinking straight. There was a case where the man won, and he did rape this girl, but his excuse was that she unbuttoned her pants, and so that she was asking for it. And there was another case where a girl just won because her college and her school her college and the police force didn't help her when she was raped, and she was taken off campus to an apartment, and she was raped multiple times by different people, and they've been charged and everything. But a lot of times people also don't come forward because it takes years. These cases don't just happen. I mean, it's not like, oh, he raped me and then he's going to jail. I mean, it takes years to build these cases. So a lot of times people don't want to be through that. Keep on going through that over and over again.
And another thing about why they don't come forward is there's been known cases where a lot of colleges try to cover it up because they don't want to give their school a bad rep. So if people are afraid to come forward to the school officials, they don't want to do that because they're afraid that they're going to be mocked or criticized or nothing's going to happen. And it's embarrassing. I mean, if that happens to you, like, you're not going to want to tell somebody, but it's really important to come forward as soon. So if you know somebody or you yourself you think you've been sexually assaulted or you've been raped, you need to come forward. You need to tell somebody as soon as it happens, because like you were saying, how those drugs go out of your system, they do. And so that's why a lot of those people who come forward, they don't come forward till after that 24-hour period, and it could be days later and they're like, oh, last Sunday I was at a party, but they have no way of proving it because the drugs are gone, the alcohol's gone, there's nothing left that they can say, like, oh yeah, there's a date rape drug in your body. And so it's really important that if you see you have to know this, like, you just have to be aware, and it's really important that you tell somebody so you can get help. And
so if you do, you need to educate yourself on this, and they're doing a better job of educating girls and men before they go off to college. But if you're not educated, I really, really, really urge you to go to pact5.org. Just read up on it, read up on some things that you can do, or take a self-defense class. I've taken 4, and that doesn't mean like I think that I need to take 4 self-defense classes, but I really enjoyed it, and it really made me feel protected. And a lot of times, when you carry pepper spray and stuff like that, it honestly does not help, because more than half the time that you use pepper spray, you actually end up hurting yourself and not the person that's attacking you. And there's other statistics and stuff, and I'm not going to get into that. But you really should just make sure that you educate yourself and educate your friends, and make sure that when you go to parties and you go off to college that you are being safe. Make sure to take these tips. If you go to the bathroom, take your drink with you. No, it's gross, but do it, because somebody could easily slip a drug into that drink. So I urge you guys to take the pledge of Pact 5 and just do your research.
We'll put the link for that website into the comments below, or the information section below, so you can visit that if you need to. And
so
yeah, that's it. Okay,
thank you.
Thank you.